Okay, hey, we're live. This is Commander, and I'm doing a little bit of a review on a brand new Saber that I just received from JQ Sabers and Faisal Milan from the Saber Sabers. This is the Elysium. I'm getting it pre-release to do a look at and a test on, and on first glance, it's outstanding. It's extremely well built. It appears to be durable. It is nicely balanced. It's 12 inches in width. I'm not really sure what the weight is. The batteries, and I'm going to check my notes. It comes with a 4800 battery as opposed to what we normally see here in the U.S. It's definitely lightweight. Outstanding looking Saber. Now, so there's really not much I can do to show it. So when I want to compare it with the Saber that I'm really high on and that we use exclusively at the JQ Saber Academy, and that is JQ Saber Persuader. So I have my own personal 4 or 5 Persuaders, as well as a couple of their Slayer models, but it comes closest to being a Persuader. So if you look, it's 1 inch longer than a Persuader. Socket depth, checking it, a Persuader is well known for having a 4-inch socket depth. This appears to have a 3-inch socket depth. As far as retention screws, both Sabers use a 1 retention screw instead of the normal 2 that you'll see on a Slayer model, but that's okay. It seems to do the trick. Something that's a little bit different is, if you know anything about Persuaders, the Persuader comes with a chassis. The chassis provides the color for it, so if you want to change the color, you can change the color. It provides durable, and it has a standard, I think there's 6860 batteries, if I'm not mistaken. But in any case, it's a standard battery that we use here in the United States. It's an outstanding concept, and I've been high on this Saber for a long time. Having used both the Slayer and the Persuader, which was his original model, I've always preferred the Persuader because it's better balanced for what we do here at JQ Saber Academy, and for groups like Terra Prime, Light Armory. They also use the Persuader, and I think SMAF, the Saber Martial Arts Foundation, they use key products, but they're also big on the Persuader, and the Persuader is sold in Lightspeed stores. So it's a Saber that is recognized and used by quite a few people. Persuaders run around $100. So I don't need to say much more about it. A lot of you already know about Persuaders. But now, looking at the Elysium, I've got to say that JQ Sabers has another winner. It's a little bit different in that the on-off button for Persuader is on the bottom, and it's this kind of button. If you can see it, there we go, and you push. When you come over to the Elysium, it has a charge port and then a little tiny switch. I'm not a big fan of the switch. I would rather have a button, but it does a trick, and it's on the bottom as opposed to being on the body of the hilt. And a really bright blue light, because that's what I wanted, a bright blue light. It's pretty awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and put a blade into each one. As everybody knows, the 4-inch, I'm not going to go ahead and hit the retention screw. The 4-inch gives the Persuader an extremely well balanced. The balance point is roughly about here, which makes it really nice for those systems that are priority systems and that you have to arm. When you put a Saber blade, and these are mid-grade blades, it's a little bit of a tight fit into an Elysium. I could either sand it, or I could oil it, I could do something else, but it goes in there. It's a 3-inch socket depth. The balance point is a little bit different, and if you know anything about Silver Sabers and their LSOT combat system, you would understand why. They really like a more front-heavy blade. And that's what this is. The balance point is completely different. But I don't mind a front, a little bit heavier blade. You just have to adjust your style. But it's definitely a different feel than a Persuader. It's not better, it's not worse, it's just totally different. Because the Saber is so well built, I don't have any worries about it, and you don't take it apart, and you don't have an internal chassis. So, as I understand it, it's all reinforced within to keep the battery and the electronics pretty safe. I'm going to be trying it out over the next month or so, but I really don't have any worries. I have another JQ Saber. I think I've showed this before. Oh, it's packed up, and it's an Excelsior, which is a cross guard that is a rare thing to find now, but I've had it for a few years now. Never had a single problem with it. I'm expecting this is going to be the same thing. And knowing that Faisal Mian from Silver Sabers had something to do with the design, I have no worries. Okay, so let's talk about. I would buy, and I have bought. I think I own 6 or 7 key products, and the reason is you get a lot for the price. As I said, this is about $100. This black tape I put on, it's just the same kind of tape you put on rackets or baseball bats to give it a better grip. The Elysium comes with combat tape. It's really nicely done. The Elysium is going to retail for about $180, so that's $80 more than a Persuader. So is the cost justified? Well, I think to get the durability that I know is built into the Saber, to get that extra inch, and if you're not going to be buying a bunch of them in bulk, I think that's not asking a lot for a $200 Saber that you know is going to stand up to combat. Their problem is they're in England, so there's going to be a cost for transportation, but I personally think I'm going to buy a couple more of these for my own personal Sabers. He sent this one to me for free. I mean, that was very kind of them. But I definitely want to add a couple more with maybe in different colors. And then I'll have an armory of key Sabers as well as some from JQ Sabers, which is a reputable saber smith in England. The biggest part is going to be the cost of shipping, but you'd have that same problems if you were buying from Saber Trio or Pack Store or something else. I do have a lot of Pack Store Shivas. I have 9 of these, and it's somewhat built like the other two, and those have been durable, but they're even shorter than the Persuaders, and they're definitely much shorter than this new Elysium. So we use 9 of these Shivas, which have held up for probably 2 to 3 years, but they are a little short. They tend to be more of a one-handed saber than being used with 2, though our students are trained with it. So we've always recommended key Sabers, but I don't know. I really like this Elysium. So I am doing this sort of review, and I'm going to give it a strong recommendation. But I'll know more in a few weeks after I put it through its paces in our Saber integrated training system that we use at Aiken Standard, in Aiken Saber Academy. Because it is a little bit front heavy, it's going to be a little bit different handling it for our form. For those that don't know, we use 2 different rule sets. The first rule set is sort of like the French, where I think the Persuader is going to be a little bit better. The second rule set is sort of what they do in England with LSOT and the Silver Sabers, and I think the Elysium, being a little bit front heavy, is actually better for that style, and it's a little bit longer. So, well done to JQ Sabers. Thank you, Faisal, for this absolutely brilliant gift. I truly am going to treasure this, just like I treasure my Excelsior as well. And again, so this ends my quick review of the Elysium. Again, it's not out yet. Run about $180, and and in my view, certainly worth spending the money to get something like this. As always, any key saber, battle saber, either the Slayer or the Persuader, always gets a recommendation. They're here in the U.S. I believe he's in Long Island, New York. Terrific saber, but now he's got a little bit of competition with this JQ Saber. So outstanding to both companies. This is Commander from Inc. Saber Academy, wishing you all well, and take care.